Okay, welcome to the Lenox Selectboard meeting, Wednesday, June 21st. It's now 6 o'clock. Tonight, we are going to reorganize, and we're going to appoint a new chairman and a new clerk. But before we do that, I certainly want to thank the members of this board for their support for the last year. I really appreciate it. Neil's not here, but I'll thank him later. But I think we had a good year, and I look forward to another good year. So thanks very much for all your help and your support.
Job well done, mate.
Yes.
Thanks, Ed. So the reorganization, usually I'll make a nomination. If anybody else has another nomination, feel free to do it. But for chairman in the upcoming year, I nominate Ed Lane.
All right, I would like to nominate for clerk for next year, David Roach.
And I'll need a second for those.
I'll second both.
All in favor?
Aye.
Done. Good.
All right. Stand up, sit down, whatever they play.
I think the chairman should have his own comfortable chair, right? Pushes the meeting along.
Anybody got a cushion I could sit on?
The big person's chair got shunted over there.
Sorry about that. I'll do better next time.
Okay, thank you for electing me chair. And
Again.
yeah, it's been several times. But thank you. So we'll just move on with the meeting. So reorganization. So now the next, we have to, of course, announce that Clarence Fanto is here recording and CTSB is also recording. And now the acceptance of minutes of June 7th. You have a motion?
I move to accept the minutes of,
I'm clerk.
oh, I'm sorry. Old habits die hard.
You're doing such a good job.
I move to approve the minutes from the July 7th meeting of the Lenox Selectboard, and then I'll be quiet.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, consent agenda. Now, we have just one thing listed on our printed version of tonight's meeting, but there are a couple other things that came in late time, so we'll add them onto the consent agenda. The first is a one-day wine and malt license for Berkshire International Club for Saturday, June 24th, from 4 to 10 p.m. at Bedford Hall. And next came in is another one came in today, and they want to get this on the thing. It's another one for Bedford Hall, and the date of that is July 6th from 3 to 7 p.m. Certified bartender and all their paperwork is in order. And the next thing we have is an application to use Lilac Park, and this is something I think is really very cool. BUTI, Tanglewood Institute from 45 West Street wants to use Lilac Park on Thursday, June 22nd and Thursday, June 30th for 2 concerts. I mean, it's just a great thing. They used to do it years ago, and it's great to have them back there. So we'll add those onto the consent agenda. Can I get a motion on that?
Mr. Chairman, I propose that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
So now moving on to general business. The traffic rules and regulations, okay? Chris, I'm gonna have to ask for your help on this because I'm not sure if this is actually a public hearing or not a public hearing. So if you can clarify that.
It is a public hearing. I don't think requiring, contrary to what I laid out, I don't think there's a requirement to read the notice, but it is technically a public hearing. It's been noticed and advertised as such, so.
It has been noticed in the paper.
Where's the notice?
And I don't think it's,
Yeah.
I think from what Mary Ellen explained.
I mean, it's noticed on the agenda as a public hearing.
But it'll be noticed after we talk about it and approve or disapprove it.
Yeah.
It'll be noticed then in the paper.
Correct.
And if anybody has a response or an issue, they can contact us that way.
Yes.
Okay.
But for the purposes of the agenda, it's no, so if it says public hearing
Okay.
on the agenda.
Okay, so what this is for is just 3 stop signs, basically. One at a stop sign at Catherine Street and an intersection with Lawton Street. The other is on West Street and Old Stockbridge Road and the other is Patterson Road and Catherine Street. A couple of these signs, it's been around for a little while, but they were never, I don't think, we didn't do the technical part of it, and that's to notice everybody that we're doing that.
Okay.
But I think these are, places where, especially the one on Catherine Street. That's a new one with a lot of traffic down there. And, it's important. And they go into Montessori school pretty fast in the morning. I know the police have been down there a lot doing traffic stops and situations. So I think that's a good place for a sign. So that's all I have to say about that.
Can I ask about the West Street, Old Stockbridge Road East End? Is that now to make it like almost a four-way stop where the obelisk is here?
No, actually, that's what's there now.
Oh, that's what's there now.
That's at the end of West Street where you come up the hill. It'll still, the one going down West Street, that'll still be open. And the other, so there'll be 3 stop signs
So
at
it's
that
like
intersection.
coming up the hill.
Up the hill,
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
the way it is right now.
Gotcha.
So do we have to change the, as chairman now?
We will when we advertise it, that's right.
Okay.
Good catch.
So if I can get a motion on that,
I move to approve the amendments to the traffic rules and regulations as presented.
Second.
is there any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll ask for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none, so we'll get that in the paper the way it should be and move on. The next thing is a discussion regarding a policy for use of town property for financial gain. I think we left this kind of in limbo a little bit at the last meeting. And Chris, have you come up with anything? I know you've been away at school.
Yeah.
So-
I continue to work on it. I continue to look at peer communities. Hope to have something meaningful, and I look forward to sitting down with Neil at some. Sorry, member Maximilian at some point to try and hammer something tangible out for y'all to react to.
I too would like to certainly wait till Neil gets back because he's been active in this. But can I make a comment though?
Certainly, yeah.
I mean, I read where Jeremy's is renting Ollie's renting the auditorium here, and they're charging people. Now, how does that fit into our discussion?
That's what complicates this, in my opinion.
Me too.
We have the auditorium downstairs, which is used a lot.
Yep.
Okay, and for the auditorium, and this is something we're really gonna have to look into in the future, we have to have janitors to clean up, we have to people open and close, we have bathrooms we have to worry about. That's one issue. Now there's people that talk about it, nobody's done it yet, they wanna rent tennis courts for tennis lessons. Just, it's not a bunch of people, but it was brought up in conversation. So we have to look at those types of things.
All right.
This isn't as complicated or as simple as Bedford or as Lilac Park. It's a little more
it's
to
not.
it.
Right.
It's got a
I
lot-
mean, we talked about nonprofits and for the public good and all that stuff, and I understand that students get in for nothing downstairs. I understand. The nonprofit certainly is always a nonprofit.
Mhm.
But they are charging 10, 15, 20 bucks. I don't know what it is for general public to come in and, so certainly Jeremy's getting paid.
Mhm.
I mean, he does
Mhm.
with all
Yes.
this stuff. So, and yet we're giving it up for zero.
Yeah.
And you bring up an
It's
interesting
costing
point.
us money.
It costs us money.
I mean, I don't think we need to it isn't a business, but we gotta cover our expenses.
One would think that would be prudent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's happening shortly, so we've gotta let this one slide, but we've gotta come up with a policy. So,
Yeah.
It's time we do. Things slip through the cracks over the years,
Yeah.
so we have to address it now.
And we've made we're in the process of making substantial improvements to that space as well.
We have.
Not unlike the courts.
Right.
Yeah, we've invested.
Yeah, air conditioning coming, right?
The acoustics are better.
Hopefully, yeah.
The acoustics are much, much better. We spent a lot of money on that.
Yeah, and that space, but also, and, the pickleball courts are there, are tennis courts, Variety's done an amazing job there. So, yeah, things are improving.
Mhm.
It's becoming
Right.
spaces that are in greater and greater demand
Yeah.
over time because of what you all have done there.
I think if we take each one individually, it can be figured out. It's not that hard to figure out. Each one's gonna be a little bit different, so probably one policy doesn't fit everything.
But we've been, as far as I know, we've been getting some pretty good in-kind contributions, like on the tennis courts.
Could be, I don't know anything about that, Dave.
I do.
Do you? Okay, yeah.
So, yeah.
And I don't think there's a lot of people who are renting. It just came up in a conversation. I was having.
No, I know, but I think if we're charging, I think we gotta recognize the people who are not charging us for doing work for the town and for the community. I think that's important to recognize. I know they don't want recognition, but we should recognize it in our thinking.
Agreed.
But I do think it's important that if people are using our tennis courts, are using our parks, and they're charging money for people to come in
Yeah.
to enjoy things that are happening in those spaces, to me, that's a different story.
I
Because
agree.
there is money going into their pockets, and, we do need to maintain those parks and those areas, and there's trash that needs to be picked up.
Yeah, we need to cover our expenses.
I'd love to run a business where I don't have any overhead.
Right.
Yeah.
Wasn't a stable like that?
Unfortunately. Yeah,
Okay, so,
put that back on the agenda. Huh?
yep, we'll talk about this again.
Without a doubt.
But it is time to clean up all those little details.
Yep.
Okay, next under general business is review, approve a firefighter association contract. This where we stand.
So, we've reached a tentative agreement with the firefighters union, to, extend a one-year contract that would, do a number of things, including, clean up a lot of the language, as it relates to, steps for years of service, as well as, harmonizing the detail rate with that of the police officers, which is what the contract says, but wasn't what the numerical breakdown actually did in the previous version. The most substantive element would be the increase for FY '24 at 2.25%, so in line with the increases for the police union as well as the public works union. And the other substantive change would be the cessation of maintenance duties at the town hall beginning September 1st.
It's pretty much what we've talked about, isn't it? Everything.
Yes. As I recall, yeah.
Yep, sounds good that we're making the language equal in both contracts, because that's apparently what we need to do.
I mean, in general, nobody gets what they want, but everybody gets the same. And that's what you and I have struggled hard,
Tried to do that for years now.
keeping parity between all of the departments, so that one department doesn't get more than another department, they all get the same.
Mhm.
So, but even in the private sector this year, I know several companies that didn't even give a COLA raise. I mean, it's been a tough year. So, I mean, it's not a lot of money, but it's some money that we're passing out, and we haven't cut back on benefits. So, town employees still get some.
No, I think we're being very generous in Lenox.
Yeah.
In most municipalities right now, it seems, when you look around the county. But I think Lenox especially so. I mean, we
Very generous.
yeah.
So, as I said, nobody gets everything, but everybody gets something, and I think that's what's really important. And
Mhm.
everybody gets the same something. And I'm here for another 2 years and 11 months. So
But who's counting?
I'm gonna keep that philosophy rolling. Yeah.
Okay, so we need a
I'll give you a
motion.
motion for that. So, Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the collective bargaining agreement between the town of Lenox and the Lenox Firefighters Association as presented by the town manager.
Second.
Second. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and that takes care of our general business. So any other
I'm just gonna
Things
throw
that
in
pe-
one plug.
Yep.
Based on what we approved earlier tonight with Boston Tanglewood Institute, doing these two concerts on Thursday, June 22nd, which is tomorrow, and Thursday, June 30th, which is next week. The concert tomorrow is going to be in Lilac Park from 12 to 1, and it's gonna feature students from the tuba workshop. So people should go to Lilac Park and enjoy the free tuba concert that they will be treated to. And then next week on the 30th, the Woodwind Quintet workshop will be performing from 12 to 1 in Lilac Park. So, if you're on your lunch break, take your sandwich over and enjoy the free music. I'm sure these kids are incredibly talented and you'll have a great time.
Perfect.
Good plug.
Thank you. Have anything?
No, sir.
Okay. Dave?
Again, I want to thank everybody, town manager, my colleagues for all the support last year. And we had a good year. We had some issues, controversial items that we weathered.
Yeah.
And it came out the way we hoped it would. So let's keep it going this year. See what's down the pike this year.
That's right.
Okay, with that, our next regular meeting will be Wednesday, July 12th. And on that note, during the summer, sometimes our meetings get a little bit mixed up. Is there any, don't say it right this minute, but let's talk about vacations or anything that people are doing so we can schedule maybe around things if we have to.
When I first came on the board, and I don't know if you were on it, but the summer schedule was once every 3 weeks.
Yeah, it wasn't when I was on.
Okay, so
I
it
mean-
must have ended, but you remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, that's something to consider if you want to do that
I like
the
that.
rest of
Do you like that?
That sounds great to me, yeah.
Unless there's an issue that comes up that Chris needs to have us come in and vote on, we could always have a quick special meeting too if an issue came up. What are your thoughts? Oh, you're the chair.
Sorry.
Old habits die hard, right, Dave?
But no, I agree. If some of this stuff, and like tonight's meeting, a lot of this could have waited. Some couldn't wait, but so we have to, we have to kind of roll with it a little bit. But if a 3-week schedule works good for everybody, I'm okay with it. And sometimes we have to, if there's something that has to be signed, if we get 3 of us together on a Friday morning, it's okay. It's just one of those things. We have to do it. There's always, we're always around. Some are around anyway.
Yeah, I'm retired, you're retired.
Yeah.
Mary Beth doesn't work much anyway, so. And you're just on the street most of the time.
I most certainly am.
Pop in for a half an hour thing.
Absolutely.
So we're good. We can do it.
Okay, so you want to do that?
Sure.
When do you want to start?
Right.
July 19th?
Tomorrow.
July 12th, actually.
July 12th.
Yeah, it'll be 3 weeks from
Oh,
today.
yeah, okay.
Oh, why, yeah, so this is 3 weeks already.
Yeah,
You anticipated this, didn't you?
I anticipated being out the week.
Oh, okay.
Okay, yeah.
All right, good for you.
That's perfect.
Completely selfish, nothing to do with it, but I like the way you think. So.
Okay, so with that, I'll get a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you all.